Hi everyone, this is Manuel from All in Stocks, and in today's video we're going to start looking at Wix, the Israeli website building company. Wix ticker is its own name, WIX, and it is currently traded on the Nasdaq in the US. Before we start, let's take a quick look at our disclaimer. This presentation is for informational purposes only. This is not a recommendation to buy or sell any security. And whoever is watching should always do his own research and talk to a registered investment advisor. So the question now is, why have I decided to spend my time studying Wix? Well, there are several reasons. I've highlighted some here. Wix is a company, a business which is very easy to understand. It's also a business that's very stable and its revenue is very predictable. It has a huge runway in front of it. I can almost bet that its profits will be materially higher in the next 5 to 10 years. Its products are very sticky. It's very hard to abandon them once you've started using them. And probably the most important of them all is that it's led by its founders. These guys are tireless in growing the company, and their focus is to widen the moat every single day. So what exactly does Wix do? Well, in short words, Wix is a cloud-based website building platform. It's what it's called a SaaS, software as a service. It was founded in 2006, a little by accident, when the CEO Avishai Abrahami and its co-founders were setting up a banners business, an online banner business, and they needed to create their own website. They found it super hard to do the website and decided there was space for a new, simpler website builder, and so here we are. In 2013, they took it public. The IPO price was $16.50, and today the share price is around 140 something, so we're looking at an 8-bagger in 6 years. Wix works as a freemium subscription model. This is obviously the junction of the words free and premium, which in turn is a variant of the land and expand model, which is often used by software companies. It works more or less like this. The software company gets its client to try its base product, in Wix's case for free, but it could be paid. Get the client to get used to the products and hope that he needs more functionalities, and then sell him these added products and functionalities. We'll see in a minute that Wix collects more than 100% of its revenue upfront before having to provide a service. It was Charlie Munger, Buffett's business partner, that said that any business that creates float, which is money that the company holds but it doesn't yet own, is likely to be a great business. And finally, Wix has been growing at an annualized 45% for the past 7 years since its IPO. And now let's check how the company gets its clients. People think that Wix is just a simple website building platform. And although this is true, this is how it started. Today, Wix is much more than that. So how does this all work? It usually starts with someone typing Wix's URL on the web browser, or someone that clicked on an ad somewhere and landed on Wix website. Next, Wix will ask him for his email address. And then the user starts building the website. You can do it through the editor, which is the base tool. You can use the Wix ADI, which is one of the core differentiators from other platforms. This is the artificial intelligence at work. for instance, if you own a gym or if you own an accounting company, an accounting firm, you will have pretty different websites, and the artificial intelligence will probably give you a more vibrant, colored website if you own a gym, whereas if you own an accounting firm, it will probably give you a more sober, classic website. If the user has coding skills, he can use Wix Code, which today is called Corvid. This allows him to add code to the Wix websites. And as we're going to see further in this presentation, this is probably the greatest avenue for growth in the upcoming years for the company. And finally, the user publishes his website on the web. Avishai, the CEO, prides himself of the fact that a user is able to create and publish a brand new website in under 3 minutes, especially if he's using the artificial intelligence feature. So all of this can be done in 3 minutes. I decided to test this, and I've registered in Wix's website, and I created a new website. I can tell you that this is true, but obviously you get a very standard website. If you're a bit more demanding, you'll need to spend more time refining it, but I can tell you that as a WordPress user, Wix seemed much more intuitive and easier to use. At the end of this all, there is obviously a catch, which is the fact that the URL comes with we can see it here, with the Wix name. So the all-in-stocks URL would be allinstocks.wixsite.com, and it would also have a header and a footer like the one we're seeing here, which is basically telling everyone that your website was designed with Wix. If this constitutes no problem for a lot of people, this is obviously not acceptable for a lot more. This is obviously a trick to make people or companies that do not wish to have this URL or header to upgrade and to pay for a subscription, which is the last step here. After all of this, which is free, people will get to subscribe. This is Wix basic sales funnel, which, as we're going to see, works really well, because after a user buys one of these subscriptions and becomes hooked, there are many ways in which the company can upsell him new products and new functionalities. Here are those products. This is the Wix Ecosystem. I'll spend some time explaining what these products do and how the company makes money, because I think it's essential to understand what a company does, especially if I am to invest in it. I don't need to understand everything, but I want to have a pretty good idea of what makes this or another company I invest in different from its competitors. So after the user subscribes, he has access to all of this, kind of. This, of course, didn't happen at the beginning when Wix was created, but it was developed over time. Wix staff has a huge amount of information about their users, both the paying ones and the non-paying users, so they know what the customers are looking for. For example, they realized that restaurants created their websites, but they later had to accept reservations through the website, or they would have to allow to order food through their website or to change menus easily. This is how Wix Restaurants was created, which is here on our right-hand side. The same happened with stores, which competes directly with Shopify, music with events. As we can see, the Wix features are integrated in 4 major groups. The central one, which we've talked about already, are the apps, the core website building apps. On the right one, we have the green ones, which the company calls its verticals. We've seen it, the restaurants, the store, the bookings, the payments. Here in purple, we have the marketing and branding tools. I must confess that as a WordPress user, I was a bit envious. For example, I have to pay MailChimp or GetResponse or any other provider. There are dozens of them, between 20 and 35 euros a month to send an automated email campaign to everyone that has registered with All in Stocks, whereas a Wix subscriber has 5,000 of these emails per month included. But of course, you had to pay about $5 per month for a G Suite from Google. On the left side of the screen here, we have in orange some other functionalities. One of them is the CRM, and it's great that they offer CRM. The general manager said the other day, it's not only about building a website, but actually helping to make it into a very effective business. So to finalize, what Wix is building is not just a mere website builder. It's actually building a set of tools and functionality to help small businesses. And how does Wix make money then? We've mentioned some of it before. The bulk of Wix revenues come from selling subscriptions. 83% of its subscribers are yearly or multi-year subscribers, and only 17% of them are monthly subscriptions. And this is a really good ratio because there are a lot of advantages to an annual or multi-year subscription. Some of them, I've highlighted 3 of them here. The first one would be the predictability of the future turnovers, which is enormous. It also allows for high retention rates because there are far fewer opportunities for subscribers to stop renewing their subscription. For example, and this is true, this is a true story. The other day I registered for a free trial on Amazon Prime, and I didn't pay attention to the deadline, and I ended up with an annual Prime subscription. Now, I have no interest in canceling it, at least for another year, right? So ideally, I've already paid it. So ideally, I will cancel the subscription while 1 minute prior to the renewal date. But I would say that it's going to be very hard to do. And even if they send me an alert, there is a high probability that I will forget. Or eventually, I will no longer be able to live without Amazon Prime. Let's see, 1 year from now. This is one of the reasons why Wix usually does promotions lowering the prices of the annual or multi-year subscriptions and not the monthly ones. A negative point to this, which there are, is that this promotion strategy will always lead to some subscribers not renewing their subscription when the promotion doesn't exist. So there's some churn at the end of the first year, and we'll see how the company is able to handle this and to respond to this. Another advantage is that Wix receives money for the whole year at the beginning of the subscription period. It receives the money up front, while the service is providing during the year. This leads to a deferred revenue on its balance sheet, and it also means that this is a negative working capital business, which allows the company to operate and above all grow with its customers' money. It's actually financed by its customers. So this is the beauty of the SaaS business, and that's why they are all so highly valued right now. To this model of paid subscriptions, there are other ways of making money, such as domain registration. Wix does not provide this service, but it has partnerships with other companies, and in this process, it obviously earns a commission. The registration of domains represented 7% of revenue of the total revenue in 2018. It also earns money from sharing agreements with Google, as I mentioned before, and also from all the paid apps that are on its app market. Other way the company earns money are payment processing fees or the sale of logos created on the Wix logo maker, but these are all really small revenue streams. So this is it. This is the end of part 1, which served to make a first approach to what Wix is today. In the next parts, we'll go into detail on Wix's financials, the web design industry, the management, the company's KPIs, its plans for the future, and of course, the company's valuation. Thanks for watching. See you soon.